My children are home from vacation, so they may be in the background randomly. I had to get this video recorded before I went to a convention. Life happens. Hey yo! Welcome back to my channel. Today, as per request from Fox, we will be discussing character voice. First off, what is character voice? Ever hear a quote and think that sounds exactly like my friend Sparkle Tush? That's because people have their own unique way of speaking, from the words that they say to the way that they say them, which is why it's a lot easier to read tone in a text from a friend than it is from a stranger. If your characters all sound exactly the same, that can make dialogue far less interesting and really confusing to try to read. Here's some of my tips to help give your characters their own unique voice. Every single person uses specific words or phrases without thinking about it. This is our vernacular. Our vernacular is influenced by everyone around us, even people that we just observe. I'll binge watch certain TV shows and end up saying "booyah" a lot, or things like that. A really well-known example of this is soda versus pop, or highway versus freeway. This extends to more than just the words we use. Just the words we use are diction. Vernacular also includes the way we say phrases or the way our sentences are structured. What'd you do today versus how's your day versus what up, how you been? All different ways to just ask somebody about how their day's going. One of my favorite parts of vernacular is when characters display strong emotions, especially anger. Be very simple. Motherfucker, you son of a bitch. Oh, go jump off a cliff, you asswipe. And the very eloquent, son of a bitch, motherfucker, are all different ways characters can phrase an angry sentence. So many things influence a character's vernacular, and you can have a shit ton of fun or loads of fun figuring out the ways that you want them to communicate. But even more important than what they say is how they say it. People tend to have a default tone, whether it's deadpan or jovial. When written consistently and well, especially in a book with limited perspectives, readers will actually be able to pick up on these small red flags. This particular aspect can be one of the hardest ones to nail down, but thankfully it's just one piece of the whole thing, and the more you do it, the easier it should get. My biggest tip for mastering tone? Diction. She sauntered into the room versus she trudged into the room. Using trudged over sauntered automatically lets the reader know that our MC's probably not in the best of moods. This is especially affected if sauntered is the character's default way of entering a room. And the reverse can also be true. If normally they're kind of angsty or moody and they trudge everywhere, then sauntering somewhere can be a hint that they're in a really good mood. Different people focus on different things. This becomes even more obvious in a limited narrative perspective. MC meets a new character. What's the first thing they focus on? Hair? Eyes? The expensive or cheap quality of their clothes? If I were a character, it would be hair and eyes, just all the time. That would be the first sentence. So-and-so walked into the room. Blue eyes, green hair. What if the perspective is more omniscient, or you want to show a side character's focus? Well, character phrasing can show it just as well. Let's return to greetings, shall we? What'd you do today? This character is focusing more on what was accomplished. Was it a lot? Was it a little? Versus, how was your day? This character might be a little more empathetic, focusing on the quality of the day. Was it a good day? Was it a bad day? Most of the time, these are subconscious observations. The reader may not even realize that their impression is being affected by the way things are phrased. In fact, the most extreme differences can be used to show characters on either end of the emotion versus logic spectrum. We've all seen the highly logical characters who speak with $5 words in short sentences versus the emotional characters who speak in long, rambly sentences with relatively $2 words. Now, not all the characters should be one or the other. Otherwise, you're not going to have very unique voices. And realistically, most people fall somewhere in between, with one leaning or the other. Things to consider to prevent going to the extremes. When something happens, how are they going to react? What are they going to focus on? Are they going to be able to focus on anything at all? Explosions all around. Are they overcome with fear? Adrenaline is pumping. Gotta go find water. Gotta run away. Well, water's gonna help run away. In these two examples, both characters are trying to escape the explosion. The first one is wrapped up in their emotions, trying to push through to think clearly. The second one is listening to their rushing thoughts as they analyze the situation. The first one is reacting much faster, but the second one is planning much clearer. Both of these are okay, and they'll both likely make it out. Neither is wrong, and both have a distinct voice. A less dramatic example could be something as simple as walking into a garden. The morning is crisp and clear. Gentle chirps and soft rustles carry through the air. The MC sits down, enjoying the feeling of morning dew. Or they look over the peaceful scene, noticing the flowers in bloom, the gentle breeze blowing through, birds are chirping their morning greeting. They sit down, knowing the warmth of the day will dry their clothes. With the first, they're enjoying the feeling of the day, and the second is thinking about the world and how it works. Again, same scene, two different characters, same feeling, but the way it's written presents two different scenes in the reader's minds. And while consistency is key, there is another big thing to keep in mind. Earlier, I mentioned how changing a character's default word, tone, or phrase can clue the readers in that something's wrong. Let's discuss that more. Do you change how you greet someone? I know I do. Whether it's because of mood, or who I'm talking to, or where I am, the way I greet people can vary greatly. But for the people consistent in my life, my greeting's pretty consistent. For my mom, it's usually, "Hey mama." For my kids, it's usually, "Hi baby." For my husband, it's usually, "Hey hun," "Hi babe," "How you doing, sexy?" Almost always one of those three, without fail. When my husband calls on lunch break, it's almost always, "Hey babe, how are you? How's your day going? How are you feeling?" Or if he's having a bad day at work, it's, "What'd you do today?" But even if you fluctuate between phrases, you still have a reliable consistency with the way that you do things. People who are highly inconsistent are even known as being reliably inconsistent, known as the "you never know what you're gonna get with them" kind of people. Which could be interesting to have one or two characters like that in a cast, but not the whole cast. This is all a lot to try and juggle, along with setting the tone for the scene that you're working on, and that's where my biggest tip of all comes in. Don't stress about the character voice right off the bat, or during the first draft. Sometimes it takes authors a while to develop character voices, and once you're done and you go back for the self-edit, you can pick out sentences that just don't sound like the character to you. A critique partner who's strong with character voice can offer suggestions during their critique, and beta readers can point out unclear areas or areas that stick out for all the wrong reasons. That's what revisions are for. Nobody's first draft is perfect, and I mean, honestly, I love the editing phase because I go back and I improve what I've already written. As you may have noticed, a lot of these tips mix and merge with each other, and that's because they are all part of what makes a character's voice unique and distinct. Just observe people, watch them, listen to them, notice how they sound normally, and then how they sound when they're upset or tired or feeling unwell. But also show sympathy if they're feeling unwell or not happy. Don't just treat them like a project. Well, those are some of my tips for improving character voice. I hope they help you out. Thank you, Fox, for requesting this video. Remember, folks, if you're curious about whether or not I can write, I have samples on my website. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook at Samantha L. Nasset. Please like, subscribe, and ring-a-ding that bell because I post videos every Wednesday. Hope to see you soon. Sam out! I want less hiss. It's the buck teeth. Can I help you, Artemis? Going batshit crazy over there? Diction. She sauntered in the... Cat, can I help you? Balder. I don't know what his problem is. He's being whiny. I don't know why I bounced into the garden, but that's what we're doing. Earlier, I mentioned things. Ignore the cat. He's just being an attention whore. Don't start with me. You want to be on camera? You want to be on camera? Looky! Don't give me that look. As you may have noticed, a lot of these tips mix and merge with each other, and that... Do you mind? Do you mind? The kids, they give no fucks.